It is the ultimate power play, a move so decisive and so brilliant that it has left the critics in California completely silent. We are witnessing the final brutal humiliation of the Sussex narrative. For years we were told that the monarchy was dusty, old, and dying without the star power of Meghan Markle. We were told that the institution would crumble under the weight of its own irrelevance. Well, look at the headlines today. Look at the reality staring us in the face. King Charles has just played his ace card, and the message is ringing out across the Atlantic like a cannon blast. The royal family does not need Hollywood. They do not need Netflix. Because they have something far more powerful. They have the Princess of Wales, and tomorrow, she isn't just attending an event. She is stepping up as the de facto face of the British state, handing a masterclass in diplomacy to the world while her detractors sit in Montecito, arguably wondering where it all went wrong. Welcome back to the channel, your daily dose of the truth behind the headlines, where we refuse to buy the mainstream media's sugar-coated nonsense. If you support the real royals and you are sick of the hypocrisy from the ex-royals, smash that subscribe button right now. Let's get into the story that is shaking the pillars of the palace. We have received the full details of a historic state visit kicking off tomorrow, and the schedule is absolutely packed with significance. King Charles is preparing to host the German president, Frank-Walter Steinmeier, for a massive 3-day state visit. Now, normally, these state visits are routine. They are filled with stiff handshakes and boring speeches. But this one is different. This one marks a turning point. We are looking at the third major inward state visit of the year. The king has been working at a pace that would floor a man half his age. The source material confirms that Charles has already welcomed French President Emmanuel Macron in July and U.S. President Donald Trump in September. Just pause and think about that lineup. Macron, Trump, and now Steinmeier. These are the heavy hitters of the global stage. This is the king asserting Britain's place in the world. But here's the detail that has the Sussex squad raging in their group chats. The king has handed a key, pivotal role to the Prince and Princess of Wales. When President Steinmeier and his wife Elke Budenbender touch down at Heathrow Airport tomorrow, they will not be met by a low-level dignitary. They won't be greeted by a courtier in a suit. They will be formally welcomed by William and Catherine on behalf of the monarch. This is huge. In the language of royal protocol, this is the highest compliment the king can pay to a guest, but it is also the highest vote of confidence he can give to his heir. He is effectively saying, here is the future. Here is the strength of the crown. William and Kate will greet the president on the tarmac, the very first faces representing the United Kingdom. From there, they will travel to Windsor, and the German president will enjoy a carriage ride through the streets to the castle. Can you imagine the visuals, the pomp, the pageantry, the crowds lining the streets of Windsor? This is the kind of soft power that you cannot buy. You cannot replicate this with a Spotify deal. You cannot recreate this on a reality show. This is centuries of history coming to life. Following the carriage procession, there will be a ceremonial welcome in the castle quadrangle attended by the king, Queen Camilla, and the Waleses. And then, the piece de resistance, the German leader will be feted with a grand state banquet in St. George's Hall on Wednesday evening. We are talking about a white tie event. We are talking about the grand service being brought out, and ladies and gentlemen, we are talking about tiaras. The Princess of Wales is going to be dazzling the world, sitting at the top table of international diplomacy. Now let's add some context to this because the timing is everything. This is the first time a German president has been hosted on a state visit in 27 years. It is only the 5th state visit from Germany since 1958. This is historic. And who is at the center of it? Catherine. This completely destroys the argument that the royal family is a trapped or racist institution that doesn't know how to function in the modern world. They are hosting the leader of Europe's largest economy. They are strengthening NATO ties. They are dealing with post-Brexit relations. This is serious grown-up work. And it forces us to look at the contrast. Oh, the delicious, painful contrast. While William and Kate are at Heathrow representing the king, shaking hands with presidents, and discussing international trade and volunteering, what are Harry and Meghan doing? They are likely planning their next rebranding. They are likely releasing a jar of jam or wearing a ball gown to a movie theater in Jamaica. The Sussexes have tried so hard to set themselves up as a rival court. They went to Nigeria, they went to Colombia, they walked around on red carpets pretending to be on royal tours. But look at the difference in substance. When Harry goes to a country, it's about photo ops and security complaints. When William and Kate go, or when they host, it is about statecraft. It is about the actual machinery of government. King Charles, who has German ancestry on both sides of his family, speaks German well. The source reminds us that in 2023, at a state banquet in Berlin, Charles delivered part of his speech in German. That is the level of preparation and respect involved here. Do you think Harry could deliver a speech in German? He barely seems to understand the language of duty in English. The king's German heritage is a subtle but powerful link being highlighted here, showing that the royal family is deeply connected to the history of Europe. It's not just celebrity, it's bloodlines and history. And speaking of history, there is a very poignant, somber moment scheduled for this visit that I think really highlights the difference between real royals and celebrity royals. On Friday, the German president and his wife will visit the ruins of the old Coventry Cathedral with the Duke of Kent. Coventry was bombed by the Germans during the Second World War. The Blitz in November 1940 killed 568 people and destroyed over 4,000 homes. The cathedral stands as a ruin, a monument to the horrors of war and the necessity of peace. The German president laying a wreath there is a powerful symbol of reconciliation. It acknowledges the pain of the past while looking to the future. Now ask yourself, does Meghan Markle understand that kind of gravity? The Sussex brand is built on grievance. It is built on my pain, my truth. Someone was mean to me about a bridesmaid dress. Put that side by side with the ruins of Coventry Cathedral. Put the Sussex complaints next to the 85th anniversary of the Blitz. It puts everything into perspective, doesn't it? The royal family deals with the history of nations, with life and death, with war and peace. The Sussexes deal with who cried at a flower fitting. The inclusion of the big help-out reception on Thursday morning is another masterstroke by the king. The German president will join the king and queen to showcase the impact of volunteering. This ties directly back to the coronation themes. It shows that Charles is a monarch who cares about community service, and again, it highlights the hollowness of the Sussex humanitarian claims. Harry and Meghan talk about service is universal, but usually that service involves a camera crew and a microphone. Charles is doing the work on the ground, connecting high-level diplomacy with local community volunteering. But let's go back to Kate. The key role handed to her is a signal to the entire world that she is back, she is strong, and she is the future queen. After her health battles, after the vile conspiracy theories, many of which were fueled by the online bots associated with the Sussex squad, she is standing tall. Greeting a head of state at the airport is physically demanding. It requires standing on the tarmac, often in the wind and rain, looking perfect, engaging in small talk, and managing protocol. By assigning this to Kate, the king is saying she is ready. He is saying, I trust her to be the first impression of my kingdom. And what does this do to the narrative in America? It shatters it. You cannot paint the Princess of Wales as a weak, submissive victim when she is literally leading the state procession. You cannot paint the monarchy as crumbling when they are hosting their third major superpower visit in 12 months. Charles has hosted Macron. He has hosted Trump. Now Steinmeier, the man is on fire. He is proving that the transition from Elizabeth II to Charles III has been seamless on the global stage. And he is doing it by utilizing the Fab Four. The real Fab Four: Charles, Camilla, William, and Kate. There is also a mention that President Steinmeier will visit Downing Street for talks with Prime Minister Keir Starmer and address Parliament. This emphasizes that the royal visit is the wrapper for hard politics. The royals provide the glitter that makes the medicine go down. They grease the wheels of diplomacy. This is why the government wants the royals. This is why the Foreign Office begs the king to host these visits, because no one does it better. If Harry were still a working royal, he might have been involved in this. He might have been the one at Coventry. He might have been the one greeting the president, but he threw it all away. And for what? For a podcast that got canceled? For a book that made him a laughingstock? As we watch the footage coming out of Windsor tomorrow, as we see the carriages and the horses and the banquets, I want you to remember that this is what Harry walked away from. He traded dignity for dollars, and now, as the bank account surely starts to drain, the dignity is long gone. The king is showing us that the institution is bigger than any one person, and certainly bigger than the two people sulking in Montecito. The German state visit is a declaration that the British monarchy is open for business, robust, and moving forward. And leading the charge, looking every inch the future queen, will be Catherine. It is her moment. It is her victory. And frankly, it is the best revenge she could possibly get. She doesn't need to give interviews. She doesn't need to write a memoir. She just needs to show up, do her job, and let the sheer majesty of the moment speak for itself. I want to know what you think about this news. Do you think King Charles is right to put William and Kate front and center for such a major visit? Does the fact that Charles has hosted Trump, Macron, and Steinmeier in 1 year prove that the king is working harder than ever? And how do you think Harry feels seeing his brother and sister-in-law handling the highest levels of state diplomacy while he sits on the sidelines? Leave your thoughts in the comments below. I read every single one of them. Make sure you like this video if you support the Princess of Wales, and subscribe to the channel so you never miss the truth about the royal family. Until next time, keep your eyes on the palace.